This is the moderator, and welcome to the Structural Pest Control Board meeting. Before we get started, I would like to remind board members and staff who are not speaking to please mute their microphones. If I detect any background noise during the meeting as a result of unmuted microphones, I will provide a brief friendly reminder, or I'll simply mute your microphone. There are members of the public in the audience today, and meeting minutes are being taken, so I please ask that board members and staff identify themselves before speaking. To facilitate public comment today, we will be utilizing the WebEx question and answer feature. When the board president reaches a point in the agenda at which public comment is appropriate, public comment will be requested, and at the board's direction, I will turn on and announce the opening of the Q&A feature. Members of the public can indicate that they would like to make a comment by clicking on the icon with a question mark within a square located at the bottom right-hand corner of their WebEx screen. These instructions will be shared on the screen each time for your reference. And in the Ask field, typically in the lower right-hand corner of the WebEx screen, members of the public who wish to make a public comment will type, "I would like to make a public comment," and send to all panelists. Any other communication will not be responded to. Members of the public, it's not necessary to identify yourself in order to make a public comment. I will take comments in the order they are received, and I will call on the member of the public to unmute their microphone. That member of the public will have 3 minutes to make their comments, and I will provide a 30-second time warning. At the conclusion, their microphone will be muted, and we will move on to our next individual who has requested public comment. Please note that the Q&A feature is being used only as a means for members of the public to represent that they would like to make a verbal comment. Once you are unmuted, that member of the public may verbally state their comment. This is not a means to ask questions of the moderator or members of the board. Such inquiries submitted using this feature will not be answered. If any attendees are utilizing a profane name, they will not be called upon to prevent members of the public from being subjected to profane language. While you are free to express criticism or negative views, for the sake of the members of the public participating on the call, please do not use profane language when making public comments to the board. If you do not have a microphone, please click on that audio and video icon at the top of your screen, select Switch Audio, and if you need further assistance, please refer to that How to Join DCA WebEx event guide that was provided with the board meeting link. And at this point, I will go ahead and pass it over to our board president.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone. This is Curtis Good. I'd like to go ahead and call our meeting to order. Susan, can you provide us a roll call, please?
Sure. Hi, this is Susan Saylor, and I'll go ahead and do the roll call. Curtis Good. Dave Smile.
Here.
Janet Thrasher.
Here.
Kyle Finley.
Here.
Okay, let the record show that we have 4 board members, which constitutes a quorum for today. Thank you.
Okay, very good. At this time, the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, is there any public comments that are not on the agenda?
All right, this is the moderator, and at the direction of the board, I have opened up the Q&A feature for public comment. Members of the public, if you would like to make a public comment for items not on the agenda, please click on that icon with a question mark within a square located at the bottom right-hand corner of your WebEx screen. We're currently sharing instructions on the screen for your reference, and in the Ask field, typically in the lower right-hand corner of your WebEx screen, please type, "I would like to make a public comment," and send to all panelists. I'll go ahead and pause a moment to give the public time to access that Q&A panel and submit their requests. This is the moderator. It looks like at this time there are no requests for public comment. Would you like me to close that Q&A panel?
Yes, please, if you would.
Right, Q&A panel is now closed.
Okay, at this time, we're on item 4, petitions for reinstatement. At this time, I'd like to turn the meeting over to Judge Aspinwall.
Thank you, Mr. Good. So we are here. One moment, I'm opening a file.
Judge Espinwall, this is Sabina, legal counsel for the board, and our DAG just logged in, so we're going to have to get her promoted up to a panelist. And I just want to make sure we didn't proceed without her.
Great, thank you.
This is the moderator. Ms. Petticini, can I get a quick mic check from you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank
Okay,
you.
brilliant.
Okay, is that the Deputy Attorney General?
Yes, Your Honor, Deputy Attorney General.
Okay, can you spell your first and last name for me, please?
Yes, first name is Laura, and my last name is P as in Peter, E, D as in David, I, C-I-N-I.
Thank you. Laura Petticini, correct?
That's right.
And you'll be here with both cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. We are on the record before the Structural Pest Control Board in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of Eduardo Santillan. This is case number 2012-7. My name is Timothy Aspinwall. I am the administrative law judge who will be presiding at this hearing, though the board members will be the decision makers. The roll call has been taken, and there is a quorum of board members present. Mr. Santillan, are you present? Can you unmute yourself, Mr. Santillan?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Santillan, I want to describe for you briefly these proceedings so you know what will be happening here. So this is a petition for reinstatement. You have the right to present exhibits and witnesses. The exhibits that you have submitted are in the form of your petition for reinstatement and the attachments which the Deputy Attorney General has put together in a petition packet. Do you have any other exhibits other than the items you submitted in your petition packet that you are going to want to introduce into evidence?
Yes.
You do? What are
Yes,
those?
Well, I was put in probation, and I sent the papers to Laura and Maritza. I have documents from the Torrance Police Department. I also sent them to Melissa from the Special Pest Control Board. The police report from my secretary made me fraud, and because I didn't send the film reports and the fees to LA County to be in compliance with the agreement with the board. And I trust my secretary, but she didn't do her work, and I never see those emails from the board. That's why they put me in probation, and
Well,
I was making.
Mr. Santillan,
Yes.
just I want to be clear, I'm asking a very specific question. I'm not asking for a story of what has happened. I'm asking you whether you have documents in front of you
Yes, I do.
now. Wait, don't speak while I'm speaking. One person needs to speak at a time. Do you have documents that in front of you now that you did not already submit to the board with your petition for reinstatement?
No, I don't.
Okay. That was my question, because you have the right to introduce documents in this petition
Right.
hearing. And so, Mr. Santian, please be sure
Yes.
and listen to what I'm saying before speaking yourself, because
Yes.
the court reporter has to keep a clean record, okay? And so the court reporter can do that only when one person speaks at a time, all right?
Okay.
So you've told me you do not have additional documents before you now that you wish to introduce into evidence that have not already been included in your petition packet. Is that correct?
Yes, I do have the police report.
Well, was that already submitted to the board?
Yes. To Melissa, Laura, and Maritza.
At the Structural Pest Control Board?
Yes, yes.
Ms. Petticini, can you tell me whether a police report is included in the petition packet documents that have been assembled? Did you hear my question, Ms. Petticini?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Petitioner did submit a police report to my office yesterday. My secretary spoke to his spokesperson who called on his behalf, and she gave her, and I later reinforced the need to file the documents in the same way that I did. With the Office of Administrative Hearings.
Well, do you have the documents now?
I do, Your Honor, and I have no objection to petitioner submitting those now.
And what do the police reports relate to?
I was actually going to ask petitioner some questions regarding the significance of the police reports and why he had chosen to include those.
Well, do they relate to the case? Do you know?
I would prefer if you asked petitioner, Your Honor.
Well, I'm asking you.
I would need to look at them again to answer that 100% correctly. Could I have just a minute?
Okay, and do you have a way of getting those to the board at this point?
Yes, I do. I could email them to my contact.
And who is your contact at the board?
Well, I'm not exactly sure, Your Honor, who I should send them to, but I will figure it out and take care of it.
I'm asking legal counsel for the department. Where should Ms. Petticini send any reports that she has received that the petitioner wants the board members to see?
Your Honor, this is Sabina, legal counsel. Dave Skelton, can you answer that question? Would it rather go to you or to Melissa?
Yeah, Ms. Petticini, you can send those to Melissa Roberts here at the board.
Okay, I'll
Do you
take care
have
of
that?
that.
Do you have that information? Ms.
I do,
Petticini?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, can you please send it now?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Okay, back to you, Mr. Santillan. You have a police report that you sent to Laura Petticini that you want introduced into evidence. Is there anything else that you want introduced into evidence?
No, I don't.
Okay. So you also have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and to testify yourself. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And do you have any witnesses you're going to call to testify other than yourself?
My daughter,
Okay.
Mariela Gutierrez.
Okay. And is she present so
Yes.
that she can testify?
Yes.
Okay. And what is her name?
Mariela.
Mariela?
Yes.
Last name?
Gutierrez.
G-U-T, one T or two T's?
G1.
Okay. I-E-R-R-E-Z?
Yes.
Thank you. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney in this proceeding. Do you wish to proceed representing yourself in this proceeding?
Yes.
Okay. So the one thing I want to emphasize to you and to your daughter who may testify is that the focus of this proceeding is on your rehabilitation. To be specific, the focus is on what you have done since the time that you lost your license in order to achieve rehabilitation. The purpose of the hearing is not to try and challenge the evidence that resulted in you losing your license, or to in effect have a hearing or relitigate the reasons for losing your license. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to be very clear in your presentation that you are focusing on rehabilitation, not the things that happened before you lost your license, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have any questions of me in terms of the procedure?
No, I don't.
Okay. And what's going to happen here is that first, the Deputy Attorney General, Ms. Petticini, will give a summary of the case and offer documents into evidence. And then those documents will be admitted into evidence. Then I will swear you in to testify, or your daughter, whoever you wish to have testify first. They'll be sworn in, you or your daughter will be sworn in, and you will testify. And after the testimony, the Deputy Attorney General may ask questions of her own. And after she asks questions, the board members may follow up and ask questions. And when they are finished, you have the right to give a final statement. Okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions at this point?
No, I don't.
Okay. In Ms. Petticini, you are appearing for the Deputy Attorney General's office, and do you wish to introduce yourself for the record and to give a summary of the case?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. My name is Laura Petticini, Deputy Attorney General. I'm appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California. And that's pursuant to Government Code 11522. In this case, it is a reinstatement of license or reduction of penalty cause. First, I would like to mark for identification and offer into evidence Exhibit 1, which is the original petition packet with accompanying documents. The board members and petitioner have been provided with a copy of the same set of this exhibit. Exhibit 1 consists of the following. The February 12th, 2021 correspondence from board staff to petitioner Eduardo Santillan confirming petitioner's hearing date for today at this time and requesting confirmation. Next, petitioner's signed and dated confirmation of attendance for today's hearing. Then the August 27th, 2020 letter from the board staff to petitioner containing general information regarding petitions for reinstatement or reduction of penalty. Next, guidelines for petition for reinstatement or reduction of penalty. Next, the petition for reinstatement of revoked operator's license number OPR 10743 submitted by petitioner, signed and dated August 31st, 2020. Next, the declaration of petitioner, signed and dated August 31st, 2020. Next, request for live scan for petitioner, which was completed on August 31st, 2020. Next, the rehabilitation and mitigation documents that were submitted by by petitioner. These include documentation from ACE professional termite and pest control training courses, confirming petitioner's completion of continuing education courses in between 2017 and 2020. Documentation of petitioner's branch 1 pre-operator course completion certificates, which were completed on May 7th, 2020 and May 10th, 2020. Letter from the board staff congratulating petitioner for passing the branch 1 operator exam on August 24th, 2020. Confirmation that on July 20th, 2020, petitioner paid investigation and enforcement costs related to the petition to revoke probation, case number 20127 in full in the amount of $7,965. The April 8th, 2014 letter and decision and order, more specifically the stipulated settlement and disciplinary order to resolve accusation number 212-7 against Master Fume Inc., Eduardo Santillan, PR, company registration number PR5604, and Eduardo Santillan, operator's license number OPR 10743. And that decision was effective on May 8th, 2014. Accusation number 2012-7, then probation documents. These include correspondence from board staff to respondent, the board approved payment plan dated May 23rd, 2014, an email from board staff regarding late quarterly reports, payment plan, and change of officers dated September 9th, 2014. The second notice from board staff regarding late quarterly reports and notification from employer dated November 13th, 2014. letter from the registrar regarding failure to file fumigation reports and fumigation fees with the Los Angeles CAC dated December 4th, 2014. The third notice from board staff regarding late quarterly reports and notification from employer dated April 17th, 2015. The fourth notice from board staff regarding probation violations dated March 4th, 2016. The final demand letter from board staff regarding balance owed for cost recovery dated December 15th, 2016. Payment in full of cost recovery received on December 27th, 2016. And board specialist inspection reports, which span from August 12th, 2014 through May 4th, 2016. The March 24th, 2018 letter and decision in order, the stipulated settlement and disciplinary order, revocation of license, the petition to revoke probation in case number 2012-7, operator's license number OPR 10743, and then the certified license history, which encompasses operator's license number OPR 10743, field representative's license number FR 16333, and company registration certificate number 5604. So that completes the documents that I would like marked for identification and offered into evidence as Exhibit 1.
The documents are so marked and admitted as Exhibit 1.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next, I will proceed with a brief summary of the case. The board issued petitioner's operator's license number OPR 10743 in branch 1 on June 6, 2003. The board also issued company registration certificate number PR 5604. On or about April 20th, 2018, petitioner's license was revoked. The revocation was the result of petitioner failing to perform satisfactorily after he was placed on probation following the decision rendered by the board in accusation number 2012-7. Accusation number 2012-7 was filed on August 8th, 2011. The allegations in it pertain to work and activities completed by petitioner associated with Master Fume Inc. Petitioner had been affiliated at various times as the president and qualifying manager of Master Fume Inc. While on probation, petitioner failed to submit the quarterly report, specifically 8 out of 9 on time. Failure to provide the required quarterly reports constituted a violation of the probation terms and conditions. So did the late submission of payments, which was another issue petitioner had while on probation. It has been approximately 3 years since petitioner's license was revoked. The original accusation included violations of the following business and profession code sections: 8505.13, 8514, 8516 subdivision B, 8639, 8648, 8650 subdivision B, and 8651. Among those original violations, in the original accusation, were the following: operating in a branch of structural pest control for which the company is not registered, advertising in a branch of structural pest control for which the company is not registered, commencing work on a contract without an inspection by a branch 3 field representative or operator, false and misleading advertising, failure to compile a proper fume log, commencing work on a contract without an inspection by a branch 3 field representative or operator having been performed, aiding or abetting an unregistered company to evade the provisions of the Structural Control Act. And that concludes my brief summary, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Petticini. So now at this time, Mr. Santillan, you have the opportunity to testify on your own behalf, or to first call your daughter to testify on your behalf regarding your rehabilitation. How do you wish to proceed at this point?
Yes, my daughter is going to speak.
Okay. And is she on the microphone or is she in the room with you?
She's in the room with me.
Okay. And can she be put on the camera or no?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Gutierrez, if you can please raise your right hand and I will swear you in. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. So you can proceed with your own statement. The Deputy Attorney General may ask you some follow-up questions, and the board might ask you some follow-up questions. So please proceed with your statement.
Okay. My statement mostly will be about the what I saw Eduardo, my dad, do. He's been taking care of everything he needs to take care of as far as his the fees that he has to pay, the classes he needs to take to be able to perform better out in the field, to be complying with the Structural Pest Control Board. A lot of the accusations I heard at the moment, I wasn't really aware of because I was not working with him at the time that all this was happening. But I will say that when I did step into the office and start working for Master Fume at the time, I did notice that there was a lot of things that were not in order as far as submitting the quarterly reports and every documents that were needed by the Structural Pest Control Board. As of then, I decided to help him out and do the best that I can to get Master Fume back in order. It did take a lot of work, and unfortunately his license did get revoked. But I can just, from my part, I can only say that I did my best to comply with the Structural Pest Control Board. Anything that needed to be submitted, any payments, any documentations, I feel like I was on top of it. And as far as Eduardo, he continued to get his training, and he has then since done everything that he can to, just run a better business overall. And I just wanted to be here with him and testify, and because he's a hardworking person. I wasn't really sure why his license will get revoked, because it's my father. He's a hard worker, and I just didn't think it was fair but I understand that there was a lot of violations, like I said, that I was just listening to that I was not aware of, and I'm sure they were not done purposely. But he is a hardworking person, and he does everything that he can to be a great business man. And that's really, Your Honor, all I have to say at the moment.
Okay, and Mr. Santillan, are there any questions that you would like to ask of Ms. Gutierrez before you testify?
Yes, Your Honor, since we find out my secretary, Norma Trujillo.
Mr. Santillan, my question to you is whether you would like to ask any questions of Mariela Gutierrez.
No.
Okay, and now is your opportunity to testify then. If you will raise your right hand, I will swear you in. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay. Excuse me. We find out my secretary, Norma Gutierrez, she made me fraud. She was cashing the company checks I was sending to you when I was under probation. We find out I never saw those letters from those emails. The Provincial Pest Control Board sent it to me because she was not doing her job. So I think that was my big mistake, to trust my secretary. And since we find out that problem, that's why my license was revoked or suspended, because I thought she was doing her work, but she didn't. So that's pretty much I have to tell you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, Ms. Petticini, do you have any questions first, Ms. Gutierrez, and then Mr. Santillan? Ms. Petticini.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I do have questions of petitioner.
Okay. And that would be Mr. Santillan, correct?
That's right, Mr. Santillan, thank you. Mr. Santillan, one of the primary functions of the hearing today is to assess rehabilitation. And that's based on the conduct or behavior which the board found against you. It's to assess your honesty, your integrity, your character, and other aspects of you which are related to the duties and functions of an operator in branch 1. I just want to emphasize we are not here to relitigate the past. We're here to assess your current fitness to practice and qualifications. So in the declaration portion of your petition for reinstatement of a revoked license, you acknowledged that you signed an agreement to redeem your actions, those are your words, after the accusation was filed. You indicated that you, quote, did not follow through with your agreement. So can you explain to me what you mean by that? How did you not follow through with your agreement?
Well, I think that I trust my secretary, and I didn't check what she was doing. I'm a good person. I pay you guys my fine, $8,000. I want to, try to get my license back. And I think I make a big mistake, and
Okay.
I hope
So what was your big mistake?
to trust my secretary. She was not doing her job, so I was working on the field. When I came back to my office late, I was checking the paperwork for my guys, and I never asked her if about her paperwork, what she was doing, and that was my big mistake, because I didn't see what she was not doing her work.
Okay.
That's the only problem I have. That's a big mistake. I trust her, and she was cashing checks from the company. She was not doing her job. She never told me I got a letter from you guys, my license. So I was paying you the fees when you put me under probation. I was making the checks to you, and she didn't send it to you. The reports, she didn't send it to you too. So I trust her. She was doing her work, but she didn't. So that was my big mistake.
Okay. What if your license was reinstated and you were given some new terms? Would you, what happens if once again you don't get the letters or you're not notified that you're behind on payments? How will you make sure that same scenario doesn't happen again?
My daughter is working with me. She is doing everything, and she's my right hand right now, so I don't think she's gonna do something wrong. So she's
Okay.
gonna.
But will you play more of a role in overseeing things and taking responsibility just to make sure that you are on top of the terms and you're not just passing that responsibility on to someone else?
Yes, I swear I'm gonna be careful. I want to be more responsible with all the papers, all the notices you send it to me, and I'm gonna make sure. I want to do everything. I want to do the best I can to keep my license. I want to get my license back. So I want to make sure that I don't want to make another mistake like the one I did.
Okay. Now, are you paid up on your fees at this time?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what else have you done in the course of time that you've been on probation to address some of the issues that led to you being placed on probation?
Well, I want to, take more classes. Branch 1, I want to, I think be more responsible.
Okay.
I think it's the best I can to I want to be more responsible.
Okay. Now, you did take responsibility for passing the exam that you were required to pass, the operator exam, correct?
Yes, I passed the test, and if you want me to do it again, I go for it. No, I think that's no problem for me.
Okay. Now, do you have any criminal convictions or problems with the law that the board might be unaware of at this time?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm a good person.
Okay. Right. I don't have anything further, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions of Ms. Gutierrez?
I do not, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then going to the board members, Mr. Good, do you have questions of either Mr. Santillan or Ms. Gutierrez?
Yeah, just want a couple questions, maybe. Mr. Santillan, this is Curtis Good, board member. You had a number of different violations. I just want to make clear that you understand you had a number of violations that you were ultimately responsible for. And it seems like you keep going back to your secretary. I just want to make sure that we don't make those same mistakes in the future. You kind of understand what your mistakes were moving forward if you were issued a new license?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And then also you were sent from the board guidelines for petitions and for reinstatement. And there's a number of activities on there, the things that you can do. Have you provided any kind of community service, or did you read through that? Do you have anything else to offer us that what you're providing to the community or church groups?
No, I don't.
Did you remember reading that in your petition for the guidelines for reinstatement, that those guidelines were in there?
No, I didn't.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I don't have any further questions.
Mr. Tamayo, do you have any questions of Mr. Santillan or Ms. Gutierrez?
No, Your Honor, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Ms. Thrasher, do you have any questions for either Mr. Santillan or Ms. Gutierrez?
I do have a question amongst the accusations that were made. One of them was advertising in a branch that you did not hold a license for. I don't know exactly what branch, whether it was branch 2 or branch 3, but you do understand that you cannot perform fumigations without there being a branch 3 termite report or inspection made prior to a fumigation.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I understand.
Okay, that's extremely important in our industry to follow those guidelines.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And any questions for Ms. Gutierrez? That's no.
No, I do not have any other questions.
Thank you. And Mr. Finley, any questions of either Mr. Santillan or Ms. Gutierrez?
Yes, thank you. This is Mr. Finley. Is your daughter currently working there, and what were the dates that she started working there?
Excuse me? Can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, what are the dates? Your daughter is currently working there from what you said. When did she start working with you?
After we find out, because she find out, she told me one day, she told me, hey, Dad, somebody is cashing checks from the company. So it's when we find out my secretary was, she made threat to me, and we went to the police station to get a report, because that's when she started working.
And when was that?
Mr. Santillan, that has to be your answer, not your daughter's answer.
Yeah, let me see what's
Just give me approximately what year, and is she?
It's 8 August 14, 2014.
2014, she started working there, and is she
Yes.
currently full-time employed with you?
Yes.
And when did your secretary, who supposedly was stealing from you, what were the years she worked there?
She worked at the secretary made me fraud, or which one? Oh, my daughter.
No, your secretary that was committing supposedly committing the fraud.
Oh, she was working with me from 2000, let me see, 2012 to 2014, 2 years.
Okay, and the reason I ask is a lot of the payments and everything weren't being made, and you put a lot of blame on the secretary, but in the time that the payments were not being made, it sounds like the secretary wasn't working there and your daughter was. Is that correct?
Yes. No? I don't really remember when, because this letter is 14, in December 16. Yeah, she was working with me. Let me see, because we find out August 14, 2014, when we find out the lady, my secretary, was cashing checks. So she started to work with me from 2017. No, 2017 too.
I'm sorry, can I speak?
Well, we might go back and ask you some questions. That's up to Mr. Finley right now, who he wants to ask questions of. So Mr. Finley, you may ask questions of whoever you wish, either Mr. Santillan or Ms. Gutierrez.
Yeah, Ms. Gutierrez, if you have those answers, I'm just trying to put the timeline together because there was a lot of blame on hey, this went wrong and these weren't being done because of the secretary who was stealing. And I guess I'm trying to figure out, was the secretary there during the time that these payments weren't being made and the reports weren't being filed? Just in the sense of, if we reinstate the license, what's different now than it was back in 2014, 2015, 2016 when all this was happening? So either one can answer.
Yeah, I want to answer just because I feel like he doesn't really understand. English is his second language, so from the time that he got the letter from the Structural Pest Control Board, and he had agreed that he was going to be making payments and sending the reports, she was working there. I came in after we found out that she was making out checks to herself and to other people. The probation still went on after, but because, like I mentioned earlier, I was not aware of any of these things going on, I was getting letters from the Structural Pest Control Board that he needed to comply with some of with this whole making payments and sending in reports. I was sending the reports and I was sending payments. I mean, what was very difficult for us at that time was making the payments, because we were literally, he didn't really have a lot of money because, again, she stole a lot of the money. But she wasn't there after 2000 December. I think it was November or August of 2014. And then after that, I was there. I don't have the documents in front of me right now to tell you like what date, up to what date the, I know it was in December of 2016 that I made all the payments and we closed that out with the Structural Pest Control Board, but I was there from 2014 all the way till the payments were made at the end. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I just wanted to make sure and are you there full time? You said working with your dad?
Yes.
Okay. And a lot of it was just on the rehabilitation of, are things different now than they were back then, and how much fault did it really come onto the secretary who hasn't been working there in 6 years?
Right. No, I take care of that now. I take care of the submitting the reports every month and the payments as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. You're
I just
welcome.
wanted clarification on that. So no further questions from me.
Got it.
Okay, do any of the other board members have any questions of either Mr. Santillan or Ms. Gutierrez? Any follow-up questions? Okay, I'm hearing none. Ms. Petticini, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, I don't, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Santillan, this is your opportunity to give any final statement that you wish to give to the board members. Do you wish to give a final statement to the board members? You're not required to, but it's your opportunity.
No, you don't.
Okay. One other item of business, and I'm just going to ask legal counsel for the board, has the Ms. Knight, has that police report come in, and have the board members gotten it via email or any other means? Do you know?
Let me confirm. David, can you check on that? I don't see Melissa on here.
Yes, just give me 1 sec. I'll check with Melissa.
Or Curtis or Dave Tamayo, have you guys, or Janet or Kyle, have you received it in your emails? No, I see Janet saying no.
I sent it to Melissa.
That has to get sent to the board members.
I would like a copy of it too. This is Sabina, legal counsel. But I can get it from Melissa though.
It's
This is
being
Kyle
sent,
Finley.
right?
Yes.
Sorry, this is Kyle Finley. I just had a question. Is the police report relating to the alleged theft of the secretary? Is that what we're talking about on the police report? Nothing to do with the plaintiff, the defendant?
Yes, it does. That's what it has to do with. It has to do with embezzlement by the secretary.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Melissa wanted me to let you know it's being sent to you all now.
Okay, and is she capable of also filing it with the Office of Administrative Hearings?
Yes.
Okay, if she can do that, that will be helpful. And do the board members wish to, and I'll go back to Mr. Good. Mr. Good, do you want the to have that police report which relates to Mr. Santillan's reporting of potential embezzlement by his secretary? Do you want that before concluding questioning? Or is it okay with you and the board members to conclude the questioning at this point and enter the document into evidence today following the questioning?
I think we can conclude the questioning right now, and then, but I think before we go into closed session, it'd be very helpful to have that document.
Yes. Okay.
This is
Very
Sabina.
good.
Oh, sorry.
Ms. Knight, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just want to confirm that I did receive it in my email, so everybody be sure to check your emails.
I received it as well.
Okay. Thank you then. With the exception of the review and admission of Exhibit 2, which is the police report just received and not yet filed with OAH as far as I know, but I will be getting that, then the record is closed with the exception of that report, which will be marked as Exhibit 2. And with that, Mr. Gutierrez and Mr. Santillan and Ms. Gutierrez, thank you for your time, and you will be notified in writing.
I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting, Your Honor, but I did have a brief closing statement.
Thank you. Go ahead with your closing statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. The burden of proof on petitions under Government Code Section 11522 is clear and convincing evidence. And the burden is on the petitioner and not the board. Of concern on the positive side in this case, it's clear that petitioner has made some progress. He's taken some classes. He's paid his fines, which are significant, and he passed an operator's test. So these are signs that he has made efforts to become a more responsible operator. On the other hand, it is concerning that he seeks to minimize, part of it might be a language issue, but he seeks to minimize his role in this. More specifically, even taking aside for a minute the fact that his daughter was the one responsible for sorting the mail from 2014 until May 4th, 2016, there doesn't seem to be an effort to acknowledge that he ultimately is responsible. The buck stops with him, regardless of who the secretary is. It's just not okay to use that as an excuse, because in the future he might have another secretary who isn't competent like his daughter. And unfortunately, it seems even this time his daughter wasn't able to fully address the issues that were going on. So that was all that I wanted to say. I think the police report makes clear that the secretary was gone as of 2014 based on the embezzlement charges against her. So that clearly supports the timeline that was the point when the daughter stepped in. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Santillan, the board will notify you after a written decision is prepared. That will be at least 30 days from now. So thank you very much. And
Thanks.
And Mr. Good, if at this point we can take a short recess before moving into the next matter.
Yes, maybe just take 5 minutes for everyone and then we'll resume.
Okay, let's resume in 5 minutes. Thank you all very much. We are off the record. Okay. This is Judge Aspinwall. Ms. Leaks, can you tell me how many pages in the last case?
Yes, Your Honor, I have 30 pages.
30 pages. And we ended what at 10:05 or so?
Yeah, 10 of 5 sounds good.
So moderator, can we do a quick roll call to ensure that all our board members are back?
Hi there, this is Susan Saylor. So let's do a roll call again. Curtis Good,
Present.
Dave Tamayo,
Here.
Janet Thrasher,
Here.
and Kyle Finley. Thank you very much, board members.
Okay, Mr. Good, would you like me to get us started, or do you have something you would like to say before we get started?
No, I have nothing. Please go ahead and start.
Okay, we are on the record before the Structural Pest Control Board in the matter of the petition for modification / petition for termination of probation filed by Joseph Serrano. This is case number 2018-26. My name is Timothy Aspinwall. I am the administrative law judge presiding in this matter. The board will be making a final determination on the merits of this matter. And is Mr. Serrano present?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And the Deputy Attorney General, Laura Petitioner, is also present, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. So, Mr. Serrano, let me make a couple of points to you at the outset. First of all, you have the right to present witnesses and exhibits in this matter. And we know that you prepared a petition with attachments to it, and the Deputy Attorney General has provided those to the board, your petition packet. Do you have exhibits other than your petition packet that you wish to introduce into evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. You also have the right to present witnesses in addition to yourself. Do you have any witnesses other than yourself who you wish to have testify today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And do you realize that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in this proceeding? And is it your wish to proceed without an attorney?
My attorney is present, I believe.
Are you represented by an attorney? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Is your attorney on the line?
I don't see him.
This is the moderator. What is the name of your attorney?
Michael Sohigian.
All right, let me get him promoted up to a panelist. I see him in our attendee list.
Thank you.
All right, and it looks like he is now promoted. Mr. Sohigian, can I get a quick mic check from you?
My name is Michael Sohigian. I'm sorry I had called in because that was what the instructions recommended. Anyway, here I am. Thank you very much for unmuting me. I'm counsel for the petitioner.
Okay, so let me repeat myself just a little bit. This is Judge Aspinwall. Were you listening to what I said before, Mr. Sohigian?
Yes, I was, Your Honor.
Okay, so there are no witnesses other than Mr. Serrano himself, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
No additional documents other than that which were included in the petition packet, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you are representing Mr. Serrano in this process, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so let me continue to go through my description of the proceedings as we will go forward. The Deputy Attorney General Laura Petitioner is present. She will introduce the case and the petition packet and provide a summary. After that, we'll swear in the petitioner to testify, and Mr. Sohigian, you may ask questions of him on direct examination. You may, or he may, also give an opening statement if you wish. The Deputy Attorney General will follow up with questions on cross-examination, and the board members will have questions of their own. Any questions, Mr. Sohigian?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Petticini, do you wish to introduce the case at this point?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Your Honor.
Please.
Thank you. Laura Petticini, Deputy Attorney General. I'm appearing on behalf of the people of the state of California pursuant to Government Code Section 11522. I would first like to mark for identification and offer into evidence the original petition packet with accompanying documents. The board members, the petitioner and petitioner's counsel have all been provided with a copy of the same set of exhibits. Exhibit 1 consists of the February 12th, 2021 correspondence from board staff to petitioner Serrano confirming petitioner's hearing date for today at this time and requesting confirmation. Next, petitioner signed and dated confirmation of attendance for today's hearing. Next, the December 8th, 2020 letter from board staff to petitioner containing general information regarding petitioning for modification or termination of probation. Next, a copy of Business and Professions Code 8623.5 Subdivision A, guidelines for petitions for reinstatement or reduction of penalty, petitioner's petition for modification, termination of probation with attachments A through C. It's signed and dated by petitioner on February 4th, 2021. Next, the declaration of petitioner Joseph Peter Serrano, signed and dated February 4th, 2021. The letter from Trident Termite Services received February 5th, 2021. The letter from Ben's Termite Solutions received February 5th, 2021. The February 18th, 2021 memorandum from board investigator Stephen R. Smith regarding petitioner's February 4th, 2021 declaration. The January 22nd, 2019 letter and decision and order that stipulated settlement to resolve accusation number 2018-26 against Joseph Peter Serrano with an effective date of February 21st, 2019. And that is accusation number 9584. Next, probation documents, the February 6, 2019 letter from board staff approving petitioner's payment plan for reimbursement of investigation and enforcement costs. The February 19th, 2019 letter from petitioner's employer, Ben's Termite Solutions, acknowledging awareness of petitioner's terms and conditions of probation, received on February 25th, 2019. The May 3rd, 2019 letter from board staff acknowledging receipt of petitioner's completion certificate for a 4-hour business ethics course completed on February 3rd, 2019, and a copy of that certificate. A December 4th, 2020 letter from board staff regarding receipt of final payment of investigation and enforcement costs and not receiving written notification from the new employer regarding probation term and condition number 4. The December 8th, 2020 letter from petitioner's new employer, Trident Termite, acknowledging awareness of terms and conditions of probation received on December 9th, 2020. And then 4 separate probation inspection reports. The first is March 25, 2020, 6/18, 2020, 9/14, 2020, and 12/7, 2020. And in all of those cases, it was noted that petitioner was not in compliance. Citation number CF 219-456, which is dated April 26, 2019, issued to petitioner for violation of Business and Professions Code sections 8516 subdivision E, 8516, 8641, 8512, 8518, and 8652, and imposing a $1,350 fine. Prior discipline against petitioner, case number 199-5, accusation, stipulated settlement and discipline order effective July 22nd, 1999. And then finally, the certified license history, and that includes operator's license number OPR 9854 and field representative's license number FR 22694. Thank you. And again, I would like to offer Exhibit 1 into evidence.
Any objection? Mr. Sohigian? Hearing no objection, Exhibit 1 is admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Do you wish to provide a summary at this point, Ms. Pedicini, in addition to reviewing the contents of Exhibit 1?
Yes, Your Honor, I would. Thank you. As it is clear from the documents that are contained in Exhibit 1, petitioner does have some prior history as well. Chiefly, there was an accusation that was filed in '98 where petitioner was implicated and in that case acknowledged the truth of his of paragraph 22, which was the only paragraph that included him, and agreed that he had subjected his license to discipline, and agreed to move forward with probation. The most recent accusation, and there was also a citation mentioned, the most recent accusation, which was filed on November 28th, 2017, and became effective on February 21st, 2019, concerns a substantially related criminal conviction. And that conviction was originally based on 2 felony counts of violating Penal Code Section 459, more specifically commercial burglary in the 2nd degree, and 2 felony counts of violating Penal Code 487, Subdivision A, grand theft of personal property, and 10 felony counts of violating Penal Code Section 470, Subdivision D, forgery. Now, on or about August 28th, 2015, the court ordered the complaint to be deemed amended, and that was based on Penal Code Section 17B. So as a result of that, the felony convictions that were recently noted became misdemeanors. Additionally, on or about April 10th, 2007, respondent was convicted of 1 misdemeanor count of violating Penal Code Section 4/15. And for that, petitioner was placed on 12 months of probation. In that case, petitioner fought in a public place and maliciously and willfully disturbed another person. On or about December 1st, 2005, respondent was convicted of one misdemeanor count of violating Vehicle Code Section 23152, Subdivision B, driving under the influence of alcohol. In this case, his blood alcohol content was 0.08% or more. On May 4th, 2000, respondent was convicted of one misdemeanor count of violating Vehicle Code Section 23109, Subdivision C, having to do with blocking the road for a speed contest. And finally, on or about January 13th, 2000, respondent was convicted of one misdemeanor count of reckless driving under Vehicle Code Section 23103. So that was the first cause of discipline that from the most recent accusation. There was the second cause of discipline as well. That was based on misrepresentation to the licensing authority. And that was due to the fact that respondent misrepresented to the board that he had not been convicted of a crime, when in fact respondent had been convicted of 5 crimes. That is my summary of the accusation, which originally is the basis for bringing petitioner here before the court. As a result of the accusation, petitioner was placed on 5 years of probation. Of significance, the accusation became effective on February 21st of 2019. So taken as a whole at this point, petitioner has sort of made a dent, has barely made a dent in his contemplated 5 years of probation. And that's all that I have with respect to my brief summary, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
Can the court hear me? Can the court hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. It wasn't clear to me. I had made an objection to Exhibit 1 relating to the principally to the report of Stephen Smith. I didn't receive the packet at all. I submitted on behalf of Mr. Serrano the petition packet, and so I'm familiar with all the documents that were in there. But I'm familiar more or less with the correspondence that was described. There was a report referred to by Stephen Smith that I have not seen, and there was some correspondence that Ms. Petticini described as noting that the petitioner was not in compliance. I have not seen that either.
So in this case, we filed the Exhibit 1 in this case on Friday. It was before noon, as I recall, and we emailed petitioner's counsel and petitioner at the email addresses that we have for them.
The exhibit, you emailed Exhibit 1 to petitioner and petitioner's counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that would have been from what address, please, Ms. Petticini?
1 moment, please.
Uh-huh.
We're off the record for a moment in this case while the council is checking their email. And still off the record, back into the previous case, Ms. Knight, can you check with whoever's necessary to make sure that the police report is getting lodged with the Office of Administrative Hearings, because I will want it when we go into closed session. I will need to mark it into evidence.
Yes.
And thank you very much.
Yes, sorry, I'll follow up with Melissa.
Thank you.
And I received the Smith attachment on Friday morning at 10:25 a.m. I'm not sure if that meant that it was sent out by Laura Petticini before I received it, because the board sends it to me and the board members at the same time at 10:25 in the morning, if that helps anybody's records.
Thank you. I have located the email. It was sent at
Okay,
11.
let's go back on the record. So we are back on the record in the Serrano matter. Go ahead, Ms. Petticini.
Thank you, Your Honor. I located the email. It was sent on Friday, March 5th at 2021 at 11:58 a.m. And it was sent to serranoinvestments@yahoo.com and M like Mark, SOH like Henry, IGIAN @mrslaw.com.
Ah, yep. My domain is mrslaw.net. That often happens, Ms. Petticini. So you sent it, yeah, mrslaw.com, I believe is a family law office in Thailand, which is why my address is not mrslaw.com. So I'm mrslaw.net.
Okay, well, I apologize for that. I don't know the best way to handle moving forward.
Can you resend it, Ms. Petticini?
Certainly, yes.
Thank you. That's the best way to handle it going forward. We're off the record again in this matter for a brief moment. It looks, Ms. Knight, it looks like I've received the additional exhibits been filed, so no need to follow up with.
Great. Yeah, I had received confirmation that you already sent it in.
Thank
Perfect.
you. We're back on the record in the Serrano matter. Okay,
Well,
Ms. Petticini, have you had a chance to send that by email to Mr. Sahagian?
I'm just about there, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, I just sent it.
All right. I will wait for it to arrive. I have not yet received it. Oh, there we go. Laura Petticini. There it is. Okay. Serrano exhibit final to file 004.
You don't need to read
Okay.
out loud, Mr. Sahigian. We have it. We're on the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize. Okay, I have received it. I thank you very much, Ms. Petticini, and thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
It's 123 pages, which is a little difficult for me to read and digest on the fly like this.
Well, so far it's been admitted into evidence, so I will allow you to make any objections before the record closes in the matter. So at this point, do you, Mr. Sahigian, wish to have your client testify?
Yes, Your Honor. Briefly, if I may make a brief opening statement.
That's fine. Go ahead.
The declaration that Mr. Serrano submitted lays out the facts as well as we can. Excuse me. I believe that there is a pretty clear line between the criminal matters during the 2000s, which sort of strike me as the acts of a young fellow sort of feeling his oats, and the 2016 conviction. So I recognize, and Mr. Serrano recognizes, of course, that although all of those convictions were misdemeanor matters, they were required to be disclosed on his license renewal application materials. But the 2016 conviction is, in my view, the only one that would qualify under 49 rather of the Business and Professions Code. So Mr. Serrano has gone into some detail to describe the facts of that. What we're looking for is Mr. Serrano has complied with all the terms of his probation up till now. The probation became effective in February of 2019. It is a 5-year probation. There would be 3 more years to go. But given the fact that Mr. Serrano has complied, and given events in his own life, which motivate him to try to return to fully licensed status, we have filed this petition. So, Mr. Serrano, turning to my client, you have submitted now.
Are you going to be asking him questions
Yes.
at this point? He needs to be sworn in. Mr. Serrano, can you turn on your microphone and turn on your camera?
Your Honor, the camera is on. Can you hear me?
Yes, and I can hear you.
Okay.
If you raise your right hand.
Oh, here we go.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Sahigian, please proceed.
Mr. Serrano, you have provided a couple of sworn declarations in this matter, have you not?
Yes, I have.
So the first was prior to the imposition of discipline in the original matter, which was adjudicated in January of 2019, right?
Correct.
And then you submitted another declaration in support of your petition for early termination of probation in February of this year, correct?
That's correct.
And were the things that you said you understood that those declarations were under oath, correct?
Yes.
And were the things that you said in those declarations true to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a big day coming up in the next couple of months, have you not?
I do.
And what is that?
I'm having a baby.
And when is the baby due?
The baby's due May 6th.
And how does that affect your petition for early termination?
Financially, going to need help there. It's financially, my income now is not supporting where I need to be in that time period or at that time. I need financial help.
And since the probation went into effect, have you made efforts to comply with the terms of the probation?
Yes, I've made every effort that the board asked me to do, and I'm current on everything.
So did you file quarterly reports as required?
Yes, I did. On time.
And did you on time, right? And did you notify your employers of the decision back in January 2019 against you?
Yes, both employers.
Now, not all of your employers, to your knowledge, submitted paperwork to the board acknowledging that you notified them within the time period that was laid out, did they?
No, they didn't. It was a 15-day period. When I originally was hired, I put that information to them and asked them to write the letter. You know, I kind of reminded them over a period of time, and one was able to submit it timely. The other took his time.
Okay, and who was the fellow who took his time?
Marlon Barrios, Trident Termite.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm just reviewing Your Honor, the February 18, 2021 memorandum to Ms. Petitioner from SPCB Specialist Stephen Smith, which I had not seen before. Okay. All right. Is there anything else other than what I've asked you and the answers that you've given, Mrs. Serrano, that you would like the board to know at this time? Recognizing that Ms. Petitioner might have some questions for you after we're done.
Yes, you know, the 2000 matters back in the early 2000s, I was in my 20s and I made mistakes, you know. I'm currently 46 years of age, and I made some mistakes and I've learned from them. You know, I've had a clean driving record for over about 10 years now with no driving violations. I've been super responsible with my my acts today. I haven't kept out of trouble, let's put it that way, because you know I'm a father of 3 here soon, and people rely on me, you know, and I have to be responsible. And this is why I'm asking for modification here, or hopefully termination of my probation, is to be able to financially take care of my family.
All right. No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Petitioner, do you have questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. So and congratulations on your new baby. You mentioned that you have a lot of family responsibilities that sounds like one of the motivations for requesting a change in your status. Are you aware that the board's primary duty and responsibility is to protect the public?
Absolutely.
So before the board can welcome you back and, set you free, it has to be comfortable with the fact that you practicing without a probationary license won't pose any harm to the public. Do you understand?
Yes, I do understand.
Okay. So you said earlier that to your knowledge, your compliance with your probation requirements was spot on and you didn't have any violations. Is that right?
No violations with that I have been on probation.
Okay. But so stepping aside from violations as in being formally written up, were you ever told that you had some things that you had to work on? And did you meet, well, first please answer that. Were you ever told that there were some areas that you needed to work on with respect to your probation?
Are we talking about during my probation with Steve and I's conversations, meetings?
Your meetings, correct. Your quarterly meetings, which led to the quarterly reports.
Yes, Steve wanted Marlon to correct his term out report, and I helped Marlon guide him to correct his term out report. Now, mind you, Marlon has been in business 19 years, and he has an original format. So Steve wanted me to help Marlon correct his term out report and redo the verbiage on it, and I coached Marlon to do that, and he has made that correction. And he also wanted me to help Marlon, file his reports timely, which he has done, and file the ag reports as well. Now, I'm not the qualifying manager of the company, and I can't be. And I've helped Marlon to step up to the plate, if you will.
Okay.
And,
so I'm sorry to interrupt, but could you identify Marlon? What is Marlon's role?
Marlon is the owner of the company, and I'm when he's overloaded with work, I take the termite inspections and or treatments that he gives me to do.
Okay. And are those typically then wood destroying pests and organization inspection reports, or WDOs?
Those are branch 3 termite inspection reports.
Okay. Are they known as WDOs?
The WDO is the termite inspection report, and those are filed.
Okay. Were you also responsible for WDOs?
I cannot be responsible for filing WDOs. Again, I'm not the qualifying manager. Marlon is the owner, qualifying manager. I'm just an employee. So filing WDOs, that's Marlon's job. I can't do anything like that. I am on probation, and I'm not allowed to be an owner or any affiliate of any company.
Okay. So I'm curious, on the September 23rd, first of all, do you recall meeting with Stephen Smith, your probation officer, on or about September 23rd, 2020 to discuss your progress on probation?
If you could refresh my memory, I could help you out.
Do you recall having quarterly meetings with Mr. Smith?
I do have quarterly meetings with Mr. Smith, yes.
Okay, so would it surprise you if I mentioned that one was on September 23rd, 2020? Or would it refresh your recollection to look at Exhibit 1?
I don't have that paperwork in Exhibit 1. What does Exhibit 1 say?
Exhibit 1 is all of the documents that were emailed to you on Friday. And I'm really just asking you about one meeting with Stephen Smith, which was on September 23rd, 2020.
Okay, the documents that emailed, I didn't receive an email on Friday. Is it the same email that Mr. Sohegan got or was supposed to get?
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry, I didn't receive that email, Miss.
Okay, so I guess let's just limit then we want to find out about your progress on probation. Okay, is that understood? And so what I'd like to talk to you about is the meetings with Stephen Smith. And I just want you to confirm that you did meet quarterly with Stephen Smith. Is that correct? Okay. So on one of those meetings on September 23rd, 2020, would it surprise you that Mr. Smith did identify 2 wood destroying pests and organism inspection reports as your reports, and also identified some issues with them?
I don't know about issues, but he did. We had 2, 3, 4 reports at times, and we would go over them and talk about them. Some on recommendations that he would prefer the termite report to say or do, meaning the recommendations that's on the computer program that's generated by Marlon and his company, and I have codes that upload, and Marlon writes his termite report. So those had to get corrected, because the recommendations off of termite software that Marlon has had to be updated.
Okay, so is it your position then that you didn't write those reports, that those you had nothing to do with? Is that your position?
Miss, I cannot write a termite report. I can't be on the computer. I can have no access to any file. I'm on probation.
Okay, thank you. Do you recall Mr. Smith ever bringing other issues to your attention when he met with you three other times to talk about your progress on probation?
You got to refresh my memory. We talked for hours at times.
Okay. Did he ever, during those hours, did he highlight areas of improvement?
Yes, he wanted me to coach me to be a better inspector, if you will. Not with findings and recommendations to change them on the termite report to make it more available for the consumer to understand. Not just something bland on the termite report. For example, termite evidence noted at exterior. He wanted everything to be pinpointed, meaning to a rafter tail, to a joist. Pretty detailed, a little bit more detail on the report. So we were able to change that for him.
Okay, so in addition to the 5 years that you were placed on probation, you had other terms, correct?
After the 5 years, Miss?
No, in addition to being placed on 5 years of probation, there were other terms imposed, fines, suspension, other things, correct?
During my probation, the fines have been paid in full. I paid the attorney, the board's attorney, that's been paid in full. All my classes have been taken care of and done. Ethics classes, went through a 4-hour course on that. That's been completed. So during my 5-year course, 5-year probation, they gave me all those years to get all this done, and I took care of it within a year.
Okay,
Year and a half.
good.
Yeah.
Your
So
operator license, I'm sorry. Thank you for filling me in. I've got some more questions for you though, okay?
Okay.
So your operator's license was suspended for 7 days as part of your probation terms, correct?
Yes, it was.
So the decision was effective February 21st, 2019. Is it your understanding that you were on suspension then until February 28th, 2019?
From what I remember, I'm going to say yes. I don't have the paperwork in front of me, and I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
7 days probation.
So in other words, you couldn't perform any inspections until February 28th, 2019, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So if there were a record indicating that you performed a WDO inspection on Gainsborough Drive in Palmdale on February 27th, 2019, would that be an error?
Did I work for Ben's termite, or see, I don't write the termite reports. So I couldn't say if he made a mistake on the date that when he wrote the termite report, or if he did not, because I don't write them.
Okay. Do you recall Stephen Smith talking to you about that issue one of the 4 times that he met with you?
No, he never mentioned that issue at all. This is news to me right now.
Okay, thank you. So you said earlier that you've learned a lot when some of these criminal incidents occurred. You were a young man in your 20s, correct?
That's correct,
ma'am. And so can you tell us a little bit about what you have learned in that time?
First of all, not to drink and drive. Second of all, be more responsible with my vehicles. In my early 20s, I was not in the right mindset. And again, I'm 46 years of age today. I've grown up. I make wiser decisions today. Why? Because I have children and I have to support my children, and not just my children, but my wife, in a household. I own my own home. I pay my house payments, and I got to be responsible. They all rely on me, and we all rely on each other. So with that being said, I've changed my ways a long time ago. My driving record's been clean over, I want to say over 10 years with, again, no moving violations. My credit score is in the late 700s. I'm responsible with all my bills. I take pride in making sure that everything's taken care of. And this is why during this probation, they gave me 5 years. I took care of everything quickly. Why? Because I care.
Okay, thank you. So you're talking about some of the DUI offenses, which is not as serious as some of the other offenses like the commercial burglary and the grand theft, correct?
That's correct.
So what have you learned looking back on those offenses that's different now?
And those offenses, the person at that liquor store, was a friend of mine. And I have learned that, not to vouch for anybody, because I had a friend that was a title rep for Old Republic Title, and he lost his ID and wanted him to cash a check, So I referred him over to my friend, and then they did what they did. So now I will not refer anybody to do any type of check cashing, that's for sure. I learned my lesson by doing that and trusting people, and it affected me, and it still affects me today, and it saddens me, that I have to still go through this. I've learned my lesson to be more, wiser, more, how can you say, just wiser, let's put it that way,
Okay, but so that was your friend's fault, that incident?
Though it was my fault too, because they said I was a part of it, which I wasn't. And, I went to court, I seen the judge, I paid to be represented. The judge was able to see my innocence and dropped it all down to misdemeanors. The person that was cashing checks disappeared. I paid for the restitution out of my own money for other people's doings, So I've learned a lot, not to trust, not to say, okay, you know, talk to that person, talk to that person. I'm just more disciplined now.
Okay. Now, would you also say that you're more honest?
Absolutely. Since my 20s, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'd like to ask you some questions about your application for registration of company, which you submitted to the board on October 24th, 2016. In that application for registration of company, you answered no to the question, have you or any of you ever been convicted of or pled guilty or no contest to any offense in the United States? And you answered no to that, correct?
That's correct. That was my fault. It was my mistake. I sped read the sentence when it said, you know, if I was convicted of a felony or misdemeanor, I just said no because I'm not a felon. It was my fault that I didn't read the question correctly, and then next time around, and now I take my time reading things and not just answering quickly. That was my fault.
Okay. Now, are there any other convictions or just incidents with the law, pending criminal matters that you haven't yet advised the board about, or or Mr. Smith about?
I have nothing pending at all.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I have nothing further. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I'll go to questions by the board members. Mr. Good, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Mr. Serrano, I understand in your testimony today, you said the primary purpose of your modification for probation is for financial reasons. Can you describe what that is and what the intent is?
Financial reasons, since I'm on probation, I'm not able to take on extra work, meaning responsibility of being a manager or even an owner of a termite company. I'm limited right now, and I need more access and more responsibility to be able to take care of, you know, the family financially. Again, you know, childcare is going to be coming into play here shortly. All the necessities to take care of a child, you know. My wife will be off of work, taking care of the baby. And that's one of my main reasons. But in the second main reason, too, another reason, too, I love the termite industry. I've been in the termite industry since I was 18 years old, and I'm 46. I've been regular. I love this business. And it hurts me, and it makes me sad to feel like I'm kind of, you know, restricted from being able to be at my potential. You know, I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect. I've learned, and I want to move forward, and I want to be the best I can be.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you have to add to that?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Tamayo, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions at this point. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Thrasher, any questions?
No, I was going to ask something similar to Curtis, but I've been satisfied with that answer, so thank you.
Okay. Mr. Finley, any questions?
Yeah, just to clarify more, I had the same question Curtis asked as well, but clarify more how, so you already have a game plan in place with your employer on financially gaining by taking on more responsibilities. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why you want.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I could be a salesperson now, go into the HOA meetings, you know, for him, being able to contract work at these HOAs, He has large HOA accounts. I could take on that fraction of being able to create more income, just being available for him. Now I'm restricted. I'm not available. So if I'm able to be more available, he'll give me more responsibilities, and of course that more money. You know, to be honest, that's the truth.
Okay, on a commission basis as an actual inspector, or just as a manager?
It's going to be commission and manager.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get deeper on how that financially affects you, because that seems like the main reason of why you want to have the probation terminated early.
Yes.
And then on the 2015, I guess I was confused between the 2013 and the 2015 incidents. 2013, was that the check cashing incident, and what was the 2015 incident? Because those are things
both the same. I'm sorry.
Okay, those are both the same?
Those are both the same. It happened in 2013, and it finally, was put to rest in 2015. The courts prolonging things, getting extensions, etc. But the incident happened in 2013. And it's been 7-8 years now, and I haven't done anything at all since then. I've learned my lesson.
Great, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Okay, any redirect examination?
Yeah, just one question. You recall a series of questions from the DAG about a February 27, 2019 report or work that she suggested you had done. You never discussed that with Mr. Smith. He never brought that up to you. Is that correct?
That's correct. Never.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thanks.
If the board members have any follow-up questions, any of the board members? Any follow-up questions by the Attorney General?
Yes, Your Honor, just one quick question. You indicated that you haven't had any issues, any criminal issues at all since 2013. Did I understand that correctly?
That's correct.
What about the incident on February 10th, 2015?
That's both of the same. It's the same case.
Okay, well, it looks to me like, I see. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Sure.
Thank you. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm back to you, Mr. Sahigian. We have Exhibit 1, which has been admitted into evidence, and the first page and a half of that gives a summary of the contents. Have you had a chance to look at that summary, and do you have any objections to the documents?
I haven't, Your Honor. Yeah, I don't have an objection to admitting it into evidence.
Okay, so 1 remains in evidence without objection. And at this point, Mr. Sahigian, do you have any closing comments? Do you or Mr. Serrano have any closing comments you wish to make?
Yes, Your Honor, I do. So I would direct the attention of the board and Your Honor to Mr. Smith's quarterly reports, which begin at page 64 of 123, immediately after the placeholder that is Board Specialist Quarterly Probation Inspection Reports. And I note that, excuse me, while it appears that Mr. Smith noted on page 64 of 123 about the middle of that block of text, Serrano worked on 2/27/19 during his 7-day suspension. That's in the midst of a number of statements regarding Mr. Serrano's compliance. it turns out that the last mention that I can see, and speaking of speed reading, I speed read through this Exhibit 1, so I may have missed something, but I noticed that on page 65 of 123, Mr. Smith said, I also haven't had a chance to talk with Serrano regarding his working on 2/27/19 during his 7-day suspension. Serrano was current with his payments to the SPCB and submitting of his quarterly reports. And I don't see a mention of the incident or the subject in any quarterly report thereafter. And with that, I'll close.
Okay. Ms. Petticini, do you have any closing comments you wish to make?
Just briefly, Your Honor, again, the burden of proof in this case is on petitioner. And the biggest concern that the board has to wrestle with is he safe to practice without benefit of having a regular check-in with the board, a quarterly check-in with the board. It's clear, as he said, that he's accomplished a great deal in a year. He got to work, he paid his fines, he did what he needed to do. But the fact that he is hoping to increase his salary, though admirable and understandable given the upcoming birth of his son, that doesn't give the board the benefit of shifting its focus on whether or not the public is safe. And in questioning him, it does feel that at times he seeks to shift responsibility from himself and minimize some of the prior activity. So those are my concerns. And yet I also see that petitioner has done a great deal in the past year. Thank you.
Okay, then with that, the record in this matter, the matter is submitted by the parties. I will prepare a written decision for the board, and the board will notify the petitioner and counsel of the decision in this matter. And with that, the record in this matter is closed. And thank you all very much. And Ms. Leeks, can you tell me the number of pages, please?
35 pages, Your Honor.
Okay. I think time is 11:14. And I want to go back on the record briefly regarding Eduardo Santillan at case number 2012-7. I have received the police report and admitting that into evidence as Exhibit 2.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, and Mr. Good, do we wish to go into executive session?
Yes, if we can go into closed session, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Just as an aside, Your Honor, I just wanted to apologize profusely for keeping everyone waiting today. We just had new laptops set up at work, and I'm really not a tech person. And I got here very early, and there were just some challenges that I needed to get some help with that I didn't anticipate. But I'm really sorry for keeping everybody waiting.
No need to apologize. You arrived right on time. And okay. I understand tech issues. I understand that tech issues occur. And we just deal with things as we can. And
well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And so it did not present a delay or hardship. So your arrival early paid off.
Okay. Thank you.
So, all right, well, back to the moderator then, if you can make sure that those of us who
This is the moderator, Susan. I have unmuted you, so you should be able to control your mute and unmute button now.
Hi, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so I still need to do my mute on the screen, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, and 5-minute break, I said.
Wonderful, thank you.